what I might want to do actually before jumping into any of the Behat stuff, I'm going to try and keep an eye on time and maybe keep this stream a bit shorter, just because it's the first one for a while and we'll have to build our way back into it. I would like to have a look and maybe introduce a dry run command if there isn't one already, or a dry run option. So instead of having it make all the files, it would be nice just to be able to see a list of files it would generate if I let it. So I don't think that's an option by default. So let's see. If we go back up again, find this. I don't think we've got a dry run option. No. So some things I've tried to add before, like quiet, and quiet is just there anyway by the Symfony console. So we get it by default, but we don't get one for dry run. So I think we might add this first, and then that might make it easier to do the Behat testing, because we can either assert that a particular file name is within the output, the list of files it would have generated. That might be one way of doing it, rather than having it generate actual files on disk and then have to check. But I don't know. I'd like to have a dry run option anyway, really. So yeah, I might just look into that quickly. So the way this works, okay, it's a Symfony console, as I said, a Symfony actual Symfony application. Let's see, how do we pass the number of levels in L? It's been a while, chat. It's fine. L1? No, I'll do this. Pattern, read the docs, Ollie, come on. Level. Yeah, it is a capital L. It says there. Okay, we need to put the space. Okay, cool. So we have. This is the Symfony console the Symfony application level. So tree. So it's fairly standard in terms of what it does. We've got the bin box humbug project that's generating a file. So we've got two vendor. We've got vendor and vendor bin. Then within, let's see, source is where they've got the interesting sort of stuff. So we've got some action classes that generate final configuration data, create list of files, generate the files themselves, validate the configuration data from the build YAML file. Using even though it's a Symfony project, I'm using some Laravel packages in it, using Illuminate connections and using pipelines. So this is the first time I tried using pipelines to see what they did. Yeah, so and we've got the actual commands. We've got a generate command and then an init command that generates the file initially, but I don't think I've really ever used that much. I just tend to copy and paste a build file from a different project and tweak it, but I do have an init command as well. And then we've got the config data control, data transfer object, and a template file and some enums. So a nice little project that serves a purpose and fixes a problem for me. It consolidates things, and also means that I get to play with something a little bit different. As in, I like Symfony. I use it for a couple of client projects I've used it for, and a lot of internal tools. And yeah, it's actually using it the other day with build a little design system with it to see how that would work. So that was a fun couple of hours just to see if I could get something built. Again, having had Mark Conroy and then Ryan Weaver on Beyond Blocks podcast, quite inspired by both of their things, especially Mark's thing of building something useful in a day with his running plan generator. I thought that was, it's like, what can I build here for in a couple of hours, and was doing design system stuff that day. I thought, I'll try and build a little design system app, and thought, I could try using some of those things that Ryan had mentioned with Symfony components and new Twig components and things, Symfony UX and Twig components. So that was really cool. Okay, so this is the generate command. Again, let's jump back here. So we've got a lot of imports at the top, but these are some things I like use like annotations now. Let's say, so this is a command, and the command name is app generate, and this is the description. There's been discussions around bringing these sorts of annotations into Drupal as well, which I think is really interesting for things like presumably things like parameters, plug in parameters and definitions and things. So that's following that with some interest for sure. Could do some private constructor injection, so we don't need to set the properties manually anymore. We can say here whether they're public or private or protected. So we're injecting some things, and then we have some options. Jumped a little bit too far there. It's bad habit when it's just to hold down a J key to go down, but if I jump down as half a screen, it jumps down too far. So I'm going against some of my muscle memory here. But here we got options. So specify which config file we're using, and then the output directory. So I think, yeah, I want to add another option here for dry run. So if we just move this around a little bit. So dry run. You don't need a shortcut. And option is going to be optional, value optional, and whether to generate files or not. Do we need the full stop at the end? I didn't fill any of the others. No. Okay. And I don't think we need a default if it's optional. Cool. Okay. So let's try this again. Let's find that command. So, okay, so it runs now. It's no longer complaining that dry run doesn't exist because we just added it. So what I was going to do was run help. So now we can see the help for the command that we're running. So app generate options. There's the config file, there's the output directory, and there's dry run. Whether to generate files or not. Interestingly, some of these have the full stop at the end and some don't. So it's not very consistent. I'll leave it off for now. I think what would be interesting as well is have could we make it, because the output directory is, that's interesting, that's got value required, but the actual option is not required, value optional. We don't want a value none. Yeah, we don't want to set dry run something, we just want to say that it's on or off. Dry run. Yeah, we don't have the equals part there anymore, so I think that's more what I was expecting. Okay, let's move this into the middle. So let's try doing this. Is dry run, and then dry run. So for now, let's just DD this out. And let's make sure we're actually calling the command, because that always helps, right? Okay, so adding it is true, and then not adding it is false. Okay, so we know whether we're doing a dry run or not, which is good. Cool. Okie dokie. Let's see. So this should no longer play this unreachable because I've just removed that DD. Yeah, and this is when I was trying to use pipelines. Previously, I tried to use a collection with different stages. Pipelines was coming up on Twitter and things at the time, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a interesting thing to try out. So I thought we'd give it a go. And the one that we're going to need to do is, I was wondering whether we need to do actually in the pipeline step, or whether we could just say can we put an if statement in here? I doubt it, but let's try it and see whether it works. Pipelines. Oh no, it's an array, so surely we can. Let's put this back the way it was. Let's have a look. So pipelines is an array. So in theory, I was thinking what we were going to have to do is say do it at the twig level and say still execute that part of the pipeline, as in try and generate the files, but then yeah, and then sort of stop it there. But yeah, if we can like literally not add it to the pipeline at all and just remove that step, that seems like the better way of doing it. So we have 4 things in the pipeline. So what we could do is then do like, can we do this and just do like an if statement and then say if is dry run and do like a dry run equals false. So if it's not a dry run, we want to run this. And I've probably got PHP Stan strict rules, strict mode, strict rules. I'm pretty sure it's strict. Let's just find out. PHP Stan strict types, strict rules. These strict rules. I've probably got this on a project, and I do like PHP Stan. I use it a lot on like every project, and I do like strict rules as well. So usually you could do something like this and say if it's not dry run, and that actually might be fine for strict rules. Now I've said that, I'm not sure. But I know it does things like saying like it can't be an empty array, for example, or it doesn't like use empty, and wanted to be quite explicit about what you're doing. But so this might have been okay actually. And we can do pipelines. Add a new thing to the pipeline if dry run is false. If we are not using dry run, generate the false. Yeah, can't see anything in chat, which is fine. It's the middle of the afternoon, so it's fine. I guess people are working. If you are just hanging out, then just feel free to say hi. It's dry run, blah 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 blah. Okay, so let's put DD back in again. Pipeline. Let's just see how many pipelines we get. So we get 4. And then in theory, add this with dry run, we should get 3. That's what I'm expecting. Cool. It's looking really good. This is not the way I was expecting to do it, but we're thinking on the fly here, so that's good. Okay, so we're only adding in the generate configuration file step if we're not to go dry run, and then just wondering whether any of this is going to fail. Generated files. We send those steps through the pipeline with the config file. Yeah, it's the only time I've used these, so I assume it's going to work with the change we've done. If not, we'll revert them and we'll go back to the way I was thinking we would have to do it. We've got info, building configuration file for the name, so we get that from the transfer DTO object. Then we get the generated files, and then we get the list of files. So we should still get the list of files because that's its own step. Create list of files to generate is here, so that should be fine. We can get rid of that step now, that empty space as well. We might as well just do that as well. Cool. Okay. So, in theory, temp stream. So we have temp stream because that's where we had to put it. That's fine. But let's remove. Let's not do that. That's a bad idea. All right, stream. So that is now gone. We don't have that. So if I was to regenerate this again with dry run, my theory is we should not have that directory made again. Or it's going to blow up completely. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting this to happen. Error thrown was running command, blah, 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 generate Dry run method. Just list of files must be type of collection. Data transfer object given. Okay, is that because of this? Yeah, let's remove this option again. Just so in my mind, let's put it back to the way it was. Okay, that works. Okay, generate configuration file. It's the last step in the pipeline, so I'd have assumed it would have not broken everything if I was not at it. This is good, but I'm learning, which is one reason why I wanted to get back and do some more streams again, because it's a good time to put some time aside to learn stuff and try things out. I'm always seem to be doing something, whether it's a blog post or a talk or some side project or something. So it'd be nice to do a bit more streaming again. So why is this happening? Pipelines. Pipeline is information files. Let's go back to that area again. Let's save this and go back. Generate files, critical thrown, running the command, build main, that's all fine. So argument 1 must be the type of a collection. Data transfer object is given. So is it because it's the last thing in the pipeline, but maybe there's something it's doing that I'm just not aware of. Let's see, let's put this back the way it was. Abort. No, I can't type. This is having a very bad effect. Delete till N. Let's go back to this. Fine. Trying to do some more typing again recently because I've gone back. I think maybe to some bad habits with my typing and tend to usually very quick at typing, but it's my accuracy. That's the one the bit that I'm trying to improve. And my theory being that if I can improve my accuracy again, it's usually around 90 to 95%. Usually around 95%. Then I should get faster at actually typing, so I'm not having to delete and go back all the time. So this is working again. Okay, I think we're going to go back to the way I was thinking of doing it at the beginning. But this was useful. So we can jump to this. And let's have a look at what we're doing in this one. So I was thinking we could literally just say don't do the dump file part. If still render everything, but just don't write the file, which seems a bit silly because then we might be doing potentially more than we need to get it to achieve the thing we want to achieve, which is why the other way seems like a good way of doing it. But if that's going to give an error, then we'll just try and keep moving forward. Okay, let's see. I'll also update some of these dot blocks as well. So we can do things like non-empty string, which again is PHP stan stuff. We should never have like an empty string as a key. Files to generate. Each file is a template file, and if the path is not null, we're going to make the parent. So things in the tools directory that we need to make the actual paths for. It's going to do that first. So again, we don't need to do any of that if we're doing dry run. Okay. File system. Okay, we need to get the dry run value. So we can do this here. So we can, in theory, then pass this here as another option. And we can jump back to that definition again. Why have I got that come up twice as well? I've got the actual class and then I've got the constructor for the class. That's not usually what happens. screenshot that quickly. I was doing some changes to the my LSP config yesterday because I was doing go to definition and it was giving me the version I wanted, but also the version that it was saved in the next store. So I never want to go there in a go to definition. So I've filtered that out. So it looks like I need to do that again. Because if it's the same file, then we don't need to see it twice. Okay, so let's just duplicate there, spool, and it is dry run. This dry run is never read. Okay, this is cool. Let's just validate this by let's do another DD driven development today. So it'll be this. This is dry run. I've got all the LSP errors coming up. Okay, dry run is true, dry run is false. Okay. Cooking on gas again, each out, we're good. Okay, so we know whether it's a dry run, which is good. You know, we might as well, I feel like we might use that default for some reason. Maybe we don't, but it feels like the right thing to do. And then for each file to generate, blah, 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 you know what, do we need to do any of this? Like, again, so thinking like, could we just not dump the file at the end, but then it would still be running all the other things. So we definitely don't need to make the path, we don't need to make the file. But then do we need to live with the files at all if we're not doing it? But the way this works, from my recollection, is that each pipeline, what's the word? At least pipe in the pipeline. Each class in the pipeline, it's sort of like a middleware, and you pass each thing into the handle, and at the end you say run the next thing. So what we could even do is just say, like, if it's dry run, then just return the next thing straight away. Let's see whether that seems like the earliest place we could do it, and it sort of depends on whether then that would still break everything. But here we don't know the fast generate yet here, so I can maybe go there. There's one space after the function keyword. What? Oh, here, okay. That's not related to this change, but I've just added the PHPCS coding standards file to this as well, and I've just changed my Vim config to use Vim and Vimlint as well. So as I'm going into these projects, I'm seeing some messages that I wasn't seeing before. Although in theory they're using the same coding standard, but yeah, I didn't have the file there, so I guess yeah, the actual rules of applying is also different. I've set this one to be so let's just help you add this one quickly. I've added PHP's, yes. Yeah, this one's using PSR 12. PHP's, I don't know if there's an actual Symfony one. I feel like there is, but I couldn't find it when I looked. Because I know there's some slight differences. Symfony one. Anyway, let's save this. And let's just try this again. Cool. Okay, so it didn't error out this time. It didn't like just blow up at the beginning. So this is sort of expected. So it's still going to say built-in configuration file 4. Generated files probably isn't true anymore because it's not generated them. So we would change that. But here's the list. So here's Docker ignore. Here's env example. Here's all the files it would have generated. So again, I suppose we can try and do that ls stream. Although it did it generate them? Let's try this again. Let's review this again. Just double check. Stream. If this is a dry run, just return the next thing. Okay, let's just try this again. So there are no files. Okay, let's run this again. Let's run this with the thing. Run with the dry run option. Okay, so there's no file. That's good. Good. So that's expected. Because we gave it the dry run option, we didn't expect it to make any files. That's fine. If we don't add the dry run option, we should have files. Yes. And then let's do another dry run. And let's make this like stream 2. So we shouldn't have stream 2. No. Okay, cool. I was worried there for a second that it still wasn't working, but there must have been one left from the previous run. It's a bit chilly today. It's been really strange weather today. I've been out this morning and it's been sun, rain, sun, hailstone, rain, sun. We haven't had snow, so I think I've heard there might be snow coming. But it's definitely cold enough. Cool. Okay, so let's save this. So the thing I've been using a bit more recently is LazyGit for some things, and because it doesn't do a couple of things. I won't go into it too much now, but I typically am just like a command line Git person. There's a lot of value in learning how the command line itself works, instead of just how the Git command line works. See, sometimes people are too reliant on GUIs and then don't know how to fix problems when something occurs. And also, they tend to they add their own terminology in as well to things like it was like a sync option, and it was like a push and a pull, or a pull and a push, and people then are like, yeah, well, how do I run git sync? I'm like, git sync isn't a thing. It's just in your GUI tool. Okay, so I'm just going to pick what we want. Actually, we didn't. That's one thing I didn't want. Okay, we want the dry run. We don't want that. That's a different change. We don't want that. That's a different change. Okay. Just step to this. So that's something different again. That was a fix I was doing just before stream. I've got some experimental flags in this tool. So I had experimental flag for using new database credentials, which I've removed, and then it was complaining because the Drupal example still has that in its build file. So because it was set to not allow extra options, it was erroring because it didn't like me passing through an extra option. Cool. Okay, so everything on the left is not being committed. So we're not adding the empty string. Excuse me, we're in the wrong tab. There we go. Not adding the empty string. We're not adding the extra space. I'll do those as sort of code cleanups. Or I can run a big PHP code fixer now. We're using PSR12. Cool. So let's just do this commit. Add dry run flag. Is it flag or is it flag? Says with the keyword, like the Symfony term is arguments and options. So let's go with option. Don't generate files if dry run. It's amazing how quickly the time goes. We're doing like streaming, and I find when I'm doing paid programming or mob programming or giving a talk, it's standing up. It's like, yeah, you're always worried it's going to take so long to do stuff and it's going to go slowly, but time seems to fly by. Don't dry files if the dry run option is set. If the dry run option. Yeah, it's one of the things for me with this. Usually, the way I've got it set up is in my terminal. Is I can have it. Let's see. I mean, like I've got like things set in here. So I've got a little color column colors thing set up. So the standard is to have, I think it's 52 characters for the subject and 72 for the body, I think. So here I can sort of see where those lines are. So the subject starts here and the body stops there. And I write a lot of really long commit messages, so people will know. So yeah, I can sort of see where they are in here, and I can just, I think I've got it set up so it'll just like wrap automatically as well, which is really nice. Lazy Git at the moment doesn't add any sort of validation to your commit message or turn red or anything when if you go over a certain limit. So there's an issue for it. Let's see. So okay, we might change this message a little bit actually, because it's not generating any files. We can either change generated files to sort of would be generated files, or files that would be generated, or maybe just add an option that just says like you're running this in dry run mode. No files have been created, or both. So if we jump back to here, go back to the actual generate command. I think that's where. Let's see what's in my harpoon list. There we go. So where's the bit that generates files? Okay, so building configuration for name generated files. Okay, so again, we already have the option here to know whether we are dry running or not. So it's probably not the right term to use. So if there's a dry run, then we can do some things. Let's move that up. I'm also going to change some of my settings here, because even though there's more code here, and it's folding between line 10 and 34, so there's 24 lines there, yeah. That hiding a bit. It's wrapping it a bit near. So maybe when I've changed my settings recently, I've changed that setting. It seems to be more lines above now. Maybe the scroll off option, whatever it's called, I've changed. Okay, so if it's dry run is true, we're going to do something else. Otherwise, we are going to do this. To be generated files wouldn't make sense, but let's just do files that would have been generated. Okay, so you've passed the dry run option, files that would have been generated, cool, and then take the dry run option off. Then we're back to our normal generated files message. Cool. And then also, if it is a dry run, we can use the IO Symfony style thing, and we can put another thing here. Not sure what the best one is. Let's see, Symfony style. There's one with screenshots in it that I can see. If not, we'll just try one. That's just the code. There's not going to be screenshots in there. Where is it? I'm sure there's one that has the that's coding docs again. I'm sure there's a page with screenshots in. It's fine. We'll go with it. Okay, so what were those options again? Let's see. Ask, no. Ask hidden, no. Ask question, no. Block, maybe. Caution, choice, no. Comment, confirm. info. Info is the same one we're already. No, info's not the one we're already using. Close some of these tabs. Let's add dry run option back again. Okay. Okay, yeah, we're using info there. Okay, that's sure we'll be using it somewhere. But that looks we want it to stand out from that message. Let's try a few options. Let's see. Block is the other one. Oh, I keep switching that workspace. I don't want it to do that. So that's just empty. That's not what we want. Choice comment. Comment, I think, is going to add like 2 slashes before it. Yep. Let's see. I'm sure there's people who do a lot more Symfony stuff than me going, it's this one. It's the one you should be using, or the one that would look best is debug. It's decorated. That's interesting. Velocity is debug. It's different. It's quiet. That'd be interesting. If it's quiet, do something. Start section. No. Text a warning. It's not really a warning, though. Let's see what it does. Yeah, that's more what I was trying to do. Something that would sort of stand out and sort of appears. Which, like, is it a warning? I don't know. But yeah, okay. I think we'll go with it. I can always change it later on anyway. This is a dry run. Typing messages is always interesting. This is a dry run. No files have been generated. Okay, cool. So info, building information file 4, warning, it's a dry run, no files have been generated, and then we can still see the list of files. I don't know, is this, like, technically that's right, but is it just having that message enough? Let's see how we feel. And of course we don't need that else. Yeah, I mean, technically, because it's not generating the files, but it does say above that no files have been generated. So I might just leave it like that. I think keep that simple. So if try run equals true, run that. Okay. So the way usually this is, I've got some editors set up, and I can do git add patch. So I usually would do things. I'd step through like this and say, yes, I want that bit. No, I don't want that bit. So it split it up by hunk, and I can just say yes, no, quit. If I remember all these, yes, no, quit, add. No. After all that, slash, I believe I would assume search. Yeah, I don't know actually. E would probably be edit, and then Q question mark I assume would be help. So let's see. Stage, do not stage, quit. Stage all and later hunks. Okay, so everything from this hunk down in the same file. Do not stage or this hunk or any later hunks in the file. Okay, manually edit the hunk, so I was right with that one. Okay, I was most of the way there. So it's that, and then we can say no to this one. So I can do a git status again. See just that one change staged, and yeah, we can just add this one file. Add a mess warning if try is used. Question then being, are they the same commit? Because they're both relate to adding the dry run option. So I might just fix that one up into the first commit that I did. So I've got RI as an alias for Rebase Interactive. And then just show me the commits that I've made since the last push. So to make a revert, because I broke something, to revert something, format, and then add the dry run option, and then add a warning. So what we'll do, I think, this is just squash. And then my problem usually with squashing, particularly on things like GitHub and GitLab, is then people, it just loses all the context. If you like, when you write a lot of longer commit messages and put some time effort into them, and then someone just squashes them, and then you end up with a merge this commit message or a sprint 50 commit message or something that you lose a lot of the context and description. So we'll keep that the same. That makes sense. I believe we shouldn't have a full stop at the end of that because it's the subject, but we'll make this into a list, and we'll just add the dry run option. Saying no files have been generated, and it auto wraps. Awesome. Cool. Don't know why it was reevaluating my flake, but there we go. Cool. So we now got one commit. Those two commits have been squashed into one commit with a different message. So that's cool.